the way to collective life experiences. The way in which education is put upon not just African people, but all people. Its purpose is to control and to contain in a box. And if you ever step out that box, you will then see a world that is outside the box.
As my pen inks, my mind speaks divine bloodlines, abstract concepts, metaphors, and simplistic sublimes. My delivery's okay, but my writing's another time. Zone of its own like honeycombs and armies inside of my mind. I think it right, it kick it, then go and hide in the furrows and the jungles of Jamal's hidden eye. Caught you staring, maybe glaring, still I will not comply with the status quo. It's freedom, bro, that I hold on high. Hip-hop, holy scripture writers always collide with the masses who wear glasses blocking vision inside. If upper classes with the passes mean that I'm verified, conversely would a failure guarantee that I'm vilified? Choose to reside, yes I, that's right, Jamal outside county lines. For the city limits, games that give me cluttering time. As fast as camera flashes, yes I read the symbols and signs. The birds and the vines, the bees and trees, they all intertwine. I live outside the box where my system knocks something abstract. Let my mind think before my eye blinks. Watch my dirty soul, don't let it sink. I stand naked as me. I live outside the box where my system knocks something abstract. Let my mind think before my eye blinks. Watch my dirty soul, don't let it sink. I stand naked as me. You sit with your hands on fit the mitt, your arm too long for the outfit, and you come with no permits to certify that you're legit. Face the perils of the pits and the fists of pessimists who suggest that you should quit. Get a job and shovel shit, buy some dope and try to pitch. You got the fever for the flavor, but the flavor leaves an itch. And until you scratch the bitch, as a slave you be his pig. Now take a step into this ditch that you dug. Can you dig? We're adults, no longer kids. For mistake, just consequence and hesitance. Go cleanse the lens that's been sold by foes and friends, lovers, teachers, preachers, kin. Like piston in the wind if you don't start over again and change your thinking. This lesson is about your perception. Your mind is the ultimate weapon. False reality's the ultimate deception. 1, 2, mic check it, we break it any given second. I live outside the box where my system knocks something abstract. Let my mind think before my eye blinks. Watch my dirty soul, don't let it sink. I stand naked as me. I live outside the box where my system knocks something abstract. Let my mind think before my eye blinks. Watch my dirty soul, don't let it sink. I stand naked as me. Verse 3, in the midst of this reality, refuse to be a casualty. So casually my mind patrols a galaxy where atoms be colliding with themselves and splitting constantly. Explosion and destruction is the birth of creativity. I'm crazy, see, maybe what you think of me. Well, I agree, it takes a little lunacy to see outside the fantasy. Imagine we remove the canopies, caps and coverings, exposing the true piano keys and play these melodies. The people would be pissing, levy penalties on enemies, and government officials will be running for the hills and flee the tyranny that you inflict with flip car reciprocity. You follow me? Hands up in the air and raise them hurriedly, ferociously. Emotions be the captain's soul, so let them sing. A herd, no blur, vision 2020 peep, planet surfing, mega hurting frequencies. You feeling me? 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 Peace. Peace out there, internet world. Trying to get my technology together here. Good evening. Peace, Sage. Thank you for coming on in. Peace to the world. Peace to the community. For those who don't know, I'm Jamal Robinson, 720astrology.com. And tonight, we're going to talk about, for those of you who may not know, there was this news that came out. I found out about it on TikTok, where there's this guy who's started making these videos showing where
these major name brand designers, how their stuff is being made and how much it really costs. But if you really think about it, it's nothing new because we learned about this. I mean, years ago, they used to talk about the sweatshops and all of this, but it seems to hit differently now. So I wanted to go back and revisit some of the astrological significators, I guess, surrounding this. Let's see if the astrology can point to kind of like a why now. And so tonight we're not doing Zoom. I just wanted to mix it up a little bit, go on StreamYard and but still I can pull the chart up over here and we can at least look at it and kind of see what we can figure out. But I want to give a second, see if maybe a couple more people get in. Some of our regulars, see if they get notified and get them a chance to get in. And but either way, per usual, this stuff will be available on the replay for those who are not available. Peace, divine rights in the building. So we'll see, because it is getting a little late. So I'll go ahead and just get going, and as usual, people can just drift in as they do. So I'm trying to think which video it was that I did. It might have been, hold on. Yeah, I did a video called The Astrology of Donald Trump and the Destiny of the USA. And I showed his chart, which is what I have here. I did a comparison of his chart to the US Sibley chart. Now, there is some debate over which chart is the right chart for the US. And I just choose to go with the more commonly accepted one. And maybe one day when I have the time, I can look at some of these other suggested charts and look at events that have happened and see how they may correspond to these particular charts. But for now, we're going to go with the time of 5:10 p.m. July 4th, 1776 for the chart of the US, which would be the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And what we're doing is we're looking at synastry. Now, synastry, astrologers don't really agree on a whole lot. Well, let me take that back. There are a lot of things that astrologers typically will agree on. There's a lot of things they won't. Peace, Natalia. And that's how you know this thing is, it's almost as much subjective as it is objective, meaning you have to see what works for your reality, right? So astrologers will debate over house systems, and astrologers will debate over how certain aspects may express. And so some things as minimal as how to use certain techniques. And synastry could fall into that category. Peace, Stray Panther. Thank you all for joining in this evening. So some may see synastry as it's just dealing with relationship. When I started studying astrology, though, one thing I did for myself is, because I am an Aquarius and there's something in my disposition about not going along with what everybody else does, even if it's considered to be established norm or tradition, which is a little arrogant, I must say. But that's the Uranian aspect of Aquarius. So my thing is, I said, okay, if we're told that such and such deals with relationship, synastry deals with relationship, Venus is the planet of relationship, the seventh house deals with one-on-one relationship. All right. So the way my mind works is, because I was so enthralled with linguistics before I got serious into astrology, whenever these words would be used, I would say, well, let me compare the keyword association to the actual etymology of the word. And when you look at relationship and how we associate the scales of justice or with relationship in Libra, and then when you look into the etymology of the word relationship, and it brings you back to scale or balancing, but it also goes deeper, as in the balance is something has to be given and something received, which brings in the correlation to the vulture, which the vulture is there. When the vulture is present, it means death is imminent, or it has occurred. The vulture comes around for death. And then why is it that the vulture is associated with Libra? You see, so the way my mind started thinking is, okay, if this, just the concept of relationship can go this deep, then maybe it's beyond just thinking about love and relationship as we think of just two people romantically inclined, which we know seventh house Libra can be platonic relationship, like a partnership, business partnership. But just all these things going in my mind. And then when I come and encounter this term called synastry, and sin, same, astri, star, then we're trying to figure out, how could that correlate to relationship? Same star. And then you go into the numerology and you see that wherever two appearing opposite components come together, there's an opportunity to create something that is beyond the two of them, i.e., a same star. Every relationship produces a child. The synastry is the same star that is produced from the two poles that form the relationship. So this is something that's going beyond just looking at a romantic relationship or partner. This is talking about any two entities, whether it be a person with a particular body of people or a corporation, or anytime we bring this and that together, we're looking at how do they interact and what star emerges out of that interaction. I hope I'm making sense. Am I making sense? Well, how I'm trying to piece this together, trying to piece together how my mind looks at these things. So that in a nutshell, synastry is any relationship, interaction between any two parties. That's what it is. So when we look at the relationship between the current POTUS and the corporate body that he represents, then we're using this to see what is being produced out of this. And this was the basic mindset behind the last video, the astrology of Donald Trump and the destiny of the USA. So we want to revisit this given the climate that we're in now, where all of a sudden on TikTok, there's all these videos. They saying, if you want to get your own tissue paper making machine, hey, get it from us. Hey, if you want your own such and such and such, get it straight from us here in China. It's like TikTok has become a straight up Alibaba commercial now. And see, so we're gonna piece this thing together tonight, and from a critical thinking standpoint, this guy pops up and he shows how a Birkin bag they may sell for $38,000, and he broke down where the leather comes from. He said it is high quality leather. It costs $400 for the leather. It costs $25 for the accessories, the zipper, and da 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 da. Final cost $1,400. He said, we make it right here, but you pay the other $30-something thousand for the name Birkin. And the bag is made in China. We send it to wherever Birkins are made, either to Italy or France or wherever else it's supposed to be. And when they put the tag in, it technically says that it's made in that place because that's where the tag was put in. You got to ask yourself, we know this is nothing new. Do you know my grandmother used to work at a factory in my hometown? This got to have been back in, I don't know, the 60s. And she told my mother, because my grandmother can sew. So she said that the same clothes that were going to Belk's, that they would take the same item and put a tag to go to Belk's that was going to Kmart. She told my mother this way back. We're talking over 50 years ago. So this is nothing new. We've heard all the stories about the sweatshops and the stuff with Nike and da 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 da. But for some reason, this hits a lot harder in 2025 when this comes out. And if you go on TikTok, it's like it is a Mandarin flex going on big time. They got a Chinese guy all of a sudden who's mimicking Trump. Welcome to China. I mean, he's doing he's pretty good, funny. But this is all coming on the heels of all the talk of the tariffs and all this. And you got to ask, well, what is the bigger play here? So I'm going to come back and I want to give my theory, but we're going to look at this. We're going to revisit the comparison here. Okay. I'm trying to see if StreamYard has maybe given us an option now where I can right on stuff over here, but I don't think so. It's all good. Okay, I don't see edit. Nope, can't do that. Okay, so no writing on the screen. Let's see how it shows up. Let me go on my YouTube. Uh-oh. I'm trying to see how it looks on my YouTube. Oh, okay. That chart's nice and big on YouTube. Okay, you can see it. All right, that'll work. Okay. It's just small for me. All right. So if you notice, I still wish I could write, but if you notice in the third house, if you look at the wheel in the middle, there are two wheels going right now. There's a wheel in the middle and there's a wheel on the outside. The wheel in the middle is the US Sibley chart. All right. The wheel on the outside is Donald Trump's natal chart. Peace, Cardia. All right. And if you'll notice, so what we're doing is we can see the, oh, wait a minute. That's an old, that is from, oh yeah, June 14th. I don't have the transits. I need to have my tri wheel so you can see the current transits. Okay. Y'all bear with me. I'm going to try to go over into my software and see if I can create a tri wheel real quick, because I want to show you the current transits. Okay. Inner wheel is the Sibley. Middle wheel is Trump. And I need to do the current transits. Okay. I need to animate this. Bear with me. I'm trying to see if I can fix this thing. I might have to abort mission. Let's see. I want to do it for now. Where's the clock? April 15th. Okay, now we're cooking. Bear with me. You'll see what I'm doing here in just a second. Shit. Oh, now my software want to crash on me. Okay. I have to try it later. All right, so we'll just talk it through. So look in the third house. You see the US moon is at 27 degrees of Aquarius. Then go and look at the ninth house of Donald Trump's chart. So you got to go to the outer wheel and look at Mars. So you're going to have to step up if you're a beginner and you don't know your glyphs, Mars looks like a red circle with an arrow leaning to the side. That's Trump's Mars. So Mars is war. All right. Now, whenever Mars opposes the moon, for one thing, we may have issues with ego expression that triggers anger and abrupt, unsettled, not thought out action. Okay. And now what's happening though? And then you got his ascendant. Look at the top, the very outside, go to the very top, and you see AS. It's at 29 degrees of Leo. First of all, Mars in Leo is the epitome of a fiery ego presence. If it is not, and if it is not brought into a healthy way of expression, this is just it's like a flamethrower. I'm gonna burn down everything that I see, and I'm not concerned about the repercussions. This can, on the negative side, this can just be an out of control ego. On the positive side, this can be a willingness to fight for something that I believe in my heart. Leo's the heart. Mars is the agent of war, god of war. I'm gonna fight for what I believe in. You know, the Mars and Leo can be the Superman archetype. I'm gonna go out here and defend the city. The royal king who also is willing to go to battle for his subjects, right? So for many, the POTUS has served this role in the archetype that they believe represents the US. They see the US as this noble entity that goes and fights for democracy, fights for justice, and meat and potatoes, guns and glory and God. And, and so this character fits that archetype in the psyche of this system because it has a spirit. There's a US spirit that pervades this landmass. It's a real thing. So with this being his identity, then his presence then causes emotional volatility within what? Within trade with neighbors and trade with foreigners. Third house, in one regard, because third house is your neighbors. And the ninth house is foreign travel. Third house is commuting. You commute right around you. That's Gemini. Ninth house sits under a Sagittarian umbrella. It is distance, long distance, travel. Long, because your legs, your thighs, or your femur is designed to move you long distances because it has the ability to endure. It's the largest bones in the body, the two femurs. Gemini represents the arms. And a baby, when you're a baby, you're crawling on your hands. Your hands and arms are Gemini. So the little infant can only travel a short distance. I'm just trying to give you these ideas to give you understanding of what the energy, how it plays out. So this is why ninth house would be foreign trade, as in trade with China would fit into that. Mexico and Canada would fit into third house. So here, his Mars is in the US ninth house, opposing the US moon in its third house. So we talked about all this on the thing about the Trump thing I did. But what's significant, if you remember, I said pay attention to the latter part of April and early May. I said something may pop. So I think this is not the big pop. I think this is some type of lead up. This information coming out on social media, like it's like they're saying, "You idiots," you know. So you think your boy Trump is gonna such and such and such. Well, look, this is they're basically it's they're mocking, you know, the US spirit, which pervades many of the people who felt like this was going to be the knight in shining armor. Now I'm gonna tell you, I'm not trying to and feel free to hit that like button. It's free, you know. Um, help me out. But I did the video way back last year, and what was it? What was the title of it? I did it on voting, and I broke all that down about what voting really is. It's a energy harvesting ritual, right? And I tried to from my little humble platform, I tried to say there are times when you just need to not be involved. And this was one of those moments because I said they're playing to people's, I'm trying to find it. They're playing on emotion. Where is that thing at? I said the video was the occult anatomy of voting. Go back. If you're new to my channel, go back to it was 8 months ago I did this, the occult anatomy of voting. Go back and watch that. How I break all that down. Because this you know, sometimes you got to make it known. Cuz here it is. There was no win. So now this guy's in, right? Now here's the deal. The reason I said pay attention to the end of April, early May is because of Uranus. I think there's a way that I could share. I feel like there's a way. Hold on. Because this is I want to be able to share my screen. I think I can do it and I can be in real time. We can be looking at this thing. Let's try it out. Because I want to show where Uranus is right now. Okay. I want to do this. Let's see if I can inner wheel Sibley chart. Sibley chart. They erased it. No, they didn't. Middle wheel Donald Trump. Where are you at? Where is his chart? Where is it at? Donald Trump. Donald Trump. There it is. Outer wheel. I need current transits. Okay, let me come back over to you all. And let me see if this thing will let me share this. Share screen. Okay. Wait a minute. Let's see. Let's see. Something might be happening. I'm waiting on. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to doctor on this a little bit because I can't. This wheel is hard to see with this color on here. Let's see. Oh, don't crash my program, man. Some bullshit. All right. Fuck it. Okay. Well, here's the point. Right now, Uranus in the sky. I should have done this. I should have just set this up on my other computer. Uranus in the sky. Today's date is the 14th. Uranus is at 25 degrees of Taurus. And on the 25th, it will arrive at 26. So, why is this significant? Well, because 26 degrees of Taurus will directly square Trump's Mars. And not only will it square his Mars, it'll be partile. It will also conjoin the fixed star Algol. And the keywords associated with Algol are decapitation, losing the head. So it can play out as a degree of mania or insanity, or it can literally I was reading somewhere, I can't remember what I was reading, but this astrologer no, this the lady's notes, the lady who left me her books. I was reading through some of her notes, some of her correspondences with other astrologers back in the '90s, and they had someone had gone and figured out when people actually had gone to the guillotine, at times where algal something malefic was aspecting algal. So it was a very literal expression of the archetype. So Taurus will fall in or Uranus is in the US 6th house. And so the 6th house is dealing with the harvest. It's dealing with money. It's dealing with goods, services. It's dealing with day-to-day activity. And so as Uranus moves through these last 5 degrees of Taurus, we almost should expect the unexpected. But this takes me back to the grand scheme here. It seems a little too convenient how everything is played out. This is like a movie script. First, you had these congressional hearings, and twice they've said, "We're getting rid of TikTok." It went dark for a couple of hours. Everybody jumped over onto these other apps and this and that. Something happened with the algorithm. It changed. Then all of a sudden, it's back online. It was like Jesus resurrecting. Everybody's like, "Oh, TikTok is back." But they built it up to where the fight to save TikTok became like a crusade, and that's too convenient. It's too convenient. Then the talk came back again about it's gonna go the next deadline is approaching, and I think it was like months ago, and it was still there. And they almost made it the same way they took a failed businessman who had a long-standing partnership with professional wrestling and the McMahon family, who appeared in, several, um, broadcasts of pro wrestling, who was on a show called The Apprentice. All of this was set up to where this person would become the knight in shining armor. Obama was part of it. There was never a way that you could have justified Trump without putting Obama. That's what I'm saying. It's everybody's a player in this game. See, Obama was put in to incite such fury because psychology and sociology, advertisement, public relations, a lot of these things, they're cousins. And what you're doing, most of them are set up to figure out how to understand the general populace, which are considered to be animals. And you figure out what's the nature of these animals, and how do you control them, and how do you move them. So by knowing the natural predisposition of the animals you control, you know that if you put in said person or character, it is gonna incite a certain reaction. So they put him in to give the emotional dopamine rush to Black people, especially, and those who consider themselves to be liberal, right? When we look back in history, he really never really represented so-called Black people. He stood firmly on fighting for gay rights, right? But what he did though was his presence invigorated the other side who could not stand to see their American spirit tarnished by this Black man being in that position. So this is when the Tea Party is created. This is when these CPACs and all these new types of renegade organizations, because we feel like we've been wronged. We're not gonna take it. No, we're not gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. So they start fighting back and they start rallying and they're having meetings and town halls. And so that rush of emotion and anger then opens up a willingness for a Trump to come in, because anything's gotta be better than that jigaboo that they put in there, right? And Trump comes out and he speaks right to the core of how they feel. He's not pulling punches. He say, "I see a woman, I grab her right in the" My God, that's what I feel too. I like to go and grab her in the crotch too, you know? So he spoke to that nature because animals are studied. But what that group didn't realize is that they were getting played just as much as the so-called other blacks and other side was getting played, because they thought that their knight in shining armor was coming in to make their reality, the reality that they envisioned, fantasy, to make it a reality. And the reality, the fantasy was created post World War II. because this is when television advertisement really kicks off, and you see the woman in the apron in the kitchen and the blonde hair and white picket fence, and the dad has the little pipe, he's sitting there reading the daily news and, "Oh, Johnny, did you eat your mashed potatoes and meatloaf?" "Yes, Paul, I did," and they put that image forward. "This land is your land," you know, and it works for you. And then at the same time, they were grooming a movie star out in California named Ronald Reagan, grooming him to be a president one day. It's all everything nothing comes out of no grassroots. Nothing is grassroots here that rises up to the main stage. But the idiots think that that exists. I don't care if you're talking about a rapper or a president. The animals, the people are conditioned to look for a messiah, whether it's Kendrick Lamar or it is Donald Trump. Everybody gets played because that is what animal husbandry is about. You're never taught about your actual power. It's always externalized. So you beat your chest because you know about the fallacies of the Bible, but you just found you find you other Jesuses other places. So that group was given Donald J. And now we get to the point and we look around like, what's going on? And everybody's making videos. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of this crap. I'm not taking it. And whoa, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Something's changing. So I say all that to say, do we really think that the way this situation is being presented is the reality? You look at the chart, the summary I came to, excuse me, in several instances of looking at his chart compared to the US chart, is that he's Wreck-It Ralph. His job was to come and dismantle the last vestiges of what this appeared to be, and everything's Hegelian dialectic. He seems to be talking tough against all these and all these big plans, and we're doing this, and we're taking our jobs back. When common sense says it's impossible now because you don't even know how much real estate in your city is owned by some global conglomerate. Look at the apartment complexes and how often the names change. Who are these people? Who's buying debt, buying debt, buying, buying, buying? So the people get caught up in these whimsical ideas, right? And now the chickens are coming home to roost because the reality check is coming. So he is destined to tear down this. He's tearing up trade. Look at the chart. 3rd house, 9th house, all torn up. Now you got the T square coming with that's been in play, but it is perfecting. And we're also approaching the place where Uranus was during, if my memory serves me correct. I remember I talked about this. Like, these were pivotal times in history around World War II, um, around the time of the, Civil War. Uranus was early degrees of Gemini. So, is it possible that there was an agreement made with China, but the last thing you can do is tell the people that you've been completely sold out because the corporations broke, belly up, and this was the plan was to, in some regards, liquidate. But it looks like there's this jostling going back and forth. But what does this leave the people? What happens when the other shoe drops and the realization really comes in what is happening? You had teachers, I'm talking about long-standing teachers, out here basically stomping the ground for Trump. Nazir Ra in Atlanta was one of them. Phil Valentine. And I'm like, "Whoa." And I was puzzled because I'm like, "Well, Nazir Ra, I don't even know him." I mean, like, he's a new funny, he pops up, he interviews Bobby Hemmett, and not too much longer, Bobby Hemmett has a stroke. Something about his energy just I don't know. But Phil Valentine, like, if anybody I'm thinking would be telling people, "You need to be a mile away, sitting up in the bleachers and observing and figuring out how to move," but to lean one way and to even it's puzzling. What's really real anymore? The thing that matters more than ever, peace, Shauna, and peace, Tiffany. Um, to me, what matters more than anything is the integrity of your personal life. The integrity of your personal life matters now more than ever before. I'm gonna say this. Look at this. They're showing you how 15, 20,000, $30,000 bags are coming out of the same factories. Some of them may have a little more higher quality, but they weren't worth 30, 20, $15,000. So we're seeing the fallacy of things. We're seeing the illusion of things. Look at Neptune in Aries. We're seeing the fallacy, the illusion is being made apparent. On the flip side, left a comment in one of my videos and told me about another guy who's been in a space of being a teacher, quote unquote, and how he's basically in some regard look like he's losing his mind. And he's telling people, "Imma show you how to do this transformation as I do it." Versus, I'm gonna go and transform, and Imma come back and talk to you when I can tell you from the other side. But I'm already creating me a new hustle right now as the old hustle is collapsing. That's what it is. People have made up these names, these fake personalities, and presented them online as, "I'm this, I'm that," but the chickens are coming home to roost. It's not just it's everywhere. It's everywhere. If you've been faking, the chickens are coming home to roost. People have roasted me. People have tried to talk down about 'cause I used to say common sense metaphysics. "Oh, ain't no common sense, da 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 da." But look around now. It pays to be real. I've never tried to present myself to be any more than what I am. I always make it clear in my videos that I have troubles that I have to work through. You know, when I'm talking to my clients, I can relate to them because I don't talk to them as though I am some exalted, um, what do they call that? What do they call those people? When they've gone on these exalted, I can't think of the name. I never try to present myself that way. Relatable. I try to give them stuff like, "Let me tell you what happened to me." And I'm not trying to toot my horn, but I'm telling you this energy we're in is gonna show if you've been faking. Yeah, guru. Oh, ascended master. That was a term I was thinking of. When you said guru, it triggered me. Thank you, Lisa. Ascended master. Same lines as guru. I don't try to present myself as that. 'Cause time is out for trying to lie to people and present yourself as above the fray. You better be real because China just came and said, "Look," laughing, mocking, s you know, "Fool, he went out there and spent $1,400 on some, Gucci slippers, huh? Cost us $75 to make them things. You just paid to be able to say that you a step above the person next to you. You're paying to try to convince somebody that your life is better." So, this is a reality check for us all because things are gonna escalate more, and your saving grace will be your sincerity. Your sincerity will be your credentials, and your lack of will be your downfall. Small partnerships small partnerships can do phenomenal things. We've been conditioned in this linear mindset about numbers, and I got and look, I'm guilty. You think I don't get tired of sitting looking at my little 1,400, and I hear other people talking, I'm like, surface level stuff. Now I'm looking at the stuff I think I kicked some heavy stuff over here, and I'm like, 1,400, I get to 1,405, then it'll drop down 2. I get 3 more subscribers to drop down 4. And I'm like, "Damn," you know? So, all of us are subject to judging our reality by numbers at times. But then I'm reminded that with small groups, you can do major, major things, and that's the lick, because this is we can't forget what's happening. We got Pluto in Aquarius. Wherever Pluto goes, it's gonna show the underbelly of the energy associated with that sign. So we're seeing the dark side of community involvement, because you're seeing community leaders that are breaking down 'cause the facade can't hold up. But then it is forcing you to look at yourself about your ability to judge character and looking at who you are. Who are you associated with? You don't know how to look at this and determine what's that other word? Damn, sometimes I can't. This Mercury and Pisces energy, I can feel it, but I can't, and I'm a wordsmith, but, discernment, discernment, discernment. You need to be sure about what your energy is, so you'll be able to determine who you should be around, because the quality of association is also gonna be very big. Because Pluto is uncovering the underbelly of society. Celebrity is over. That's why people collapsing who try to present themselves as celebrities. It's over for that. It's about the quality of membership. Leo is celebrity. It is everybody look at me. Aquarius is, well, here's a place where everybody has value because everyone values each other. That's why they form this group. But that means everybody gotta have something to offer. And if you've been attaching or associating with entities or groups based on lack, because 'cause you're looking for a new Jesus, or you're looking for some other thing to give you some dopamine rush, you gotta check yourself so that we can see the positive side of Pluto and Aquarius, which is the power of the people, the power of right association, the power of being around the right people, the power of being able to, um, orbit around a central theme. It is we come together because we have shared value, shared interest, and gifts that can enhance that shared nucleus and grow it. And it ain't gotta be no phenomenal 500,000 people and, and a million here and no, it just need to be the right people, because the more people you get around, somebody's gonna bring some pollutants in. You understand me? And pollutants is a big thing right now with Neptune and Aries. We are breathing each other's pollutants more so than ever before. We are swimming in whatever you carrying. If I'm not protecting myself, I'm swimming in it. That's why we gotta wear the computer. You gotta wear the computer. You gotta step up your own understanding of your own power. You have to imprint your signature on your environment. You gotta become more knowledgeable of symbolism. You gotta create your own symbolism, and guess what? If they out here showing that all this stuff is fugazi, guess what you need to start doing? Supporting people who really making their stuff as far as creating their own sigils, creating their own symbols, creating it. Because when you wear somebody's logo, you're wearing their magic, and whatever they believe in, when you exchange money or currency, you are indirectly supporting whatever they see the world is supposed to be. Every time you eat a I used to love Kellogg's cornflakes when I was a little boy. Would eat mixing I take a my mama had a yellow mixing bowl, and I would put half the box of cereal in there, fill up the with the milk and pour sugar all in there, and sit there and watch Super Friends and kill it. But I didn't know we didn't know that every box of Kellogg's we bought, that the origin of that country of that company was a eugenicist, a person who didn't think that someone like me had any value as far as living, that I was expendable. We didn't know. We don't know what these designs when we look at a chevron and I'm saying I know we know we can't completely cut out, you gotta get gas, but these designs are not done for nothing. They have energy charged in them. The logo is a sigil. So if you're gonna exchange currency, exchange it with a sigil that's designed to give you some power. When I come back and talk about this Fechem and come back and teach again on this 13 and this Behu and this Ehid, both adding up to 13, Behu, the nothingness, the void, which we think is evil, but the void is where everything comes out of the void. Anytime you use your imagination, go into Behu, because you need to go where nothing is formed to pull out raw material, and that raw material is what is the substance of imagination. I'm seeing something that you can't even see yet. I see it. That's Behu, the void, the nothingness. From the nothing comes the absolute. It's a Kabbalistic statement. And the absolute is the one, which is Ehid, the Hebrew word for one. And the Ehid is the only noun, or is it it's an adjective, I'm sorry. The words for 2 through 9 are nouns. So that means that Ehid is the modifier. It modifies the rest 'cause adjective modifies a noun, describes or modifies. So the one is modifying itself through these other states. This is Kabbalah. This is the Sephers. It is the one modifying itself. But even that one comes from something before it, something more primal, which is nothing. And it just so happens that these 2 states have a gematria value of 13, the nothing and the absolute. That's the master computer. So we have to step up our knowledge and application. You gotta put it on you. You gotta wear it. You gotta charge it. Meaning you walk into a place, you become the energy. I control this. I go into a place and Either people are gonna be bothered by my energy or they're gonna wanna flock to it, and I've come to learn to accept that. My energy's strong when I come in. So, I also had to learn to not let my environment attack me. I spent too many years with my environment attacking me, people too close to me, people staring, people just so I started learning, okay, I'm going on the offensive. So I'm gonna take all this I've been studying, Imma start making my own sigils, and I'm gonna go in and impact my environment. So for these next 13, 14 years, fuck with me. This the new way. This the new way. Put your energy where the shit gonna pay you something back, you know? Walk into that environment and take it. Take it. You impact it, and this is especially important for people who if your ascendant is in water, you know, or earth. If you have earth or water energy ascending, or planet that, um a planet that is has a watery nature, the moon naturally is a watery planet. Neptune is a watery planet. Mars can go either way. Um, but if you have that energy, you especially if your sun is in water or earth, um, and this is just not but this goes to everyone, but I'm saying especially if your earth or water ascending or, um, you have a watery expressing that's a co-significator of your chart, you know, you need or your sun or moon is in water or earth, you especially need to make sure, like we used to say back in the day, you guard your grill and knuckle up. You get on the offense. There is filth out here in our environments and it's picking up because if people don't choose to look inwardly and to objectify themselves so they can look at themselves and look and think about how they express, how they've been. If they can't listen, they can't learn, and they become an infection. So all of this is happening with the US is not separated from us because we live within this reality. This is something playing out with us too. It's a drama. And because the spiritual energy is so strong, then we can get grabbed up in the drama and start playing out, living out this archetypal expression. Be sincere. Be honest with yourself. Stop being a follower. Think for yourself. Form alliances with souls you naturally resonate with, and don't be the liability. Don't be the liability. When you bring assets together, you can't help but win. can't help but win because this idea of rugged individualism, it's over. It's over. This is coming from an Aquarius sun, who I don't wanna dance to people's tune, but I do know got enough sense to know at this leg of the journey, you gotta find somebody you can work with. You gotta find somebody that you can trust and work with, and because you can do phenomenal things with the right partnerships. Because we don't know what is going to unfold as we approach in, April and into the, early May. But we must always know that we are considered cannon fodder. We're considered to be animals. And, I was about to say something else. I lost my oh, and this does not negate the fact that we just had this full moon. I wanna go back on that because I don't know if I touched on this in the video I did on the full moon. I talked about the positives around this full moon, that although it's the full moon increases inflammation, brings things up to the surface. It's like the bubbling water, it's the high tides, and it's, "Whoa," this is when babies are born and crime, there's a lot of your sirens running up and down the street, full moon. But Venus stationed retrograde earlier that day. I mean, stationed direct, excuse me. And as it stationed direct, it was approaching Saturn. So by now, Saturn and Venus might be conjunct. They might be conjunct. Today is the 14th. No, it's getting close. So Thursday, they'll conjoin. See, they'll be partile by this weekend, meaning they'll have an exact conjunction. Utilize your time wisely. You gotta be able to be in 2 worlds. You gotta see the things I just talked about. Yeah, things are tense, but you have to still be working on your plan in the midst of what you see going on. You almost have to be aware and unaware at the same time. This is what I mean when I say magic. I don't mean tricks. I mean the magic is the ability to stabilize and focus your mind on said thing or goal as you're driving down the highway and you see car wrecks. You on your highway in your city, and when there's a wreck, people stop. The highway gets jammed and bottlenecked, not because of the wreck, because of people slowing up to look at it. So the stuff I talked about in the beginning of this broadcast is the wreckage that we may see, increased wreckage on the side of the roads, and people are gonna slow down and look at it, and that causes more wrecks. But the magic is to be able to drive down the highway out of your peripheral, see the wrecks, I need to move over a lane early so I can avoid the slowdown. I may even have to hop off and hit me a side street. That's the magic. The magic is to be present and to be aware of your surroundings, but not engulfed in them. I'm still getting where I gotta get to. I'm still working on said thing. That's the magic. That's the magic. It ain't no tricks. You're not gonna you're not going to sidestep this shit. It is you're gonna have to go through the eye of the storm and stay focused. That's your focus is magic shit. Your sincerity, your focus, who you are in association with, your protection. Cults are gonna we're gonna see cults increase because people are gonna start looking for answers more than ever outside of themselves. This is a great time if you're a charlatan to try to start you a new hustle. It's also dangerous. It's dangerous to repercussions, but if you're a charlatan, oh man, because people are gonna be looking for somebody who seems to have it already figured out, and they're gonna put themselves in in a lot more harm's way doing so. 'Cause the answer is you, and this full moon is highlighting you getting your business in order, whether you are doing the business or not, for you to be business related, because the axis between Mars and Cancer and the full moon axis in Libra and Aries, and this was which occurred a couple of days ago. It was a T-square, and the T-square released it to Saturn, and Saturn is about, what do we say? Chariots of the sun. How are you bringing your sun to the center stage, to the midheaven? Are you treating yourself, your life, like a business? Now understand what I mean by that. I mean, when you go to work, you at least gonna try to be on time. You're gonna you know somebody's always monitoring your time, you know, and you expect to be compensated for your time. So in other words, are you treating your own life that way? Are you valuing your time? Are you wasting your time? Are you treating your life like a business? Are you maturing? You know, Saturn is maturity. Capricorn, maturity. Sagittarius lays out all the big ideas. Capricorn is the one to say, well, this is how we're gonna have this is the work that's gonna be required. I'm so proud of myself. I spent yesterday hours cleaning up this office. Didn't do no videos and do nothing. I didn't finish until today, getting my space in order. You know, my desk, I took my, Windex and wiped down the surface of this desk and just getting you know, 'cause I need to get this this is this is my home office. This is the void that I create out of. I need to have it in order to allow healthy chaos to express. You gotta figure out, how do I create the necessary order to allow the necessary chaos? That may sound crazy. I need to create the necessary order to allow for the chaos. The chaos is the real creativity. But if you have constant chaos around you, you're just swimming in shit. You have to create the order that allows the storm, chaos storm, to form in a manner that benefits you. This is magic. It's how the shit works. You're manipulating energy. I know I've jumped all over the place. They have no notes tonight, so this is just going. I just went off the dome this evening. Lisa said, "I've created a few sigils, charged them, and had one tattoo. That's what's up. Right on." Poetic Heart in the house, peace. Part of y'all said, "You're right as a teacher. Y'all is testing me to show up correctly and immediately. Other people are fake. Yes. Um, this has been going on in my reality today in the last yeah. Sage said, no more playing small. No more playing small. Um, we don't know what's gonna how things a lot of times are gonna exactly play out. We look at the horoscope, and horoscope is not that thing that comes usually get in the paper on Sundays. Hey, if you're an Aquarius, Monday will be your money day. No, when we say horoscope, we're talking about in the original sense. It is the measuring of the hour. Horos, hour, scopic is measure or scope to see. Seeing and measuring the hour. And so when we look at it from that standpoint, we measure to see the the weather conditions around a particular time. We can see that there's a lot of cloud cover. There's condensation. Now, we don't necessarily know if it's gonna be a thunderstorm or if it could possibly materialize into a Category 3 hurricane, but we can see that there may be some type of inclement weather, but you don't stop living your life. You don't say, "Okay, I'm staying in the house, man. It may be raining for the next 2 weeks. I ain't going nowhere. I'm not living life until the sun comes completely out." It'd be a wasted life. So we don't know exactly how the storm pattern may emerge or the weather may exactly express, but we do see that there's a chance for inclement weather. But that doesn't mean that it stops the show. It just means you don't drive with your convertible top down. What are you strategizing on? What are you working on? Part of what's going on now, everything is magical wars. And a lot of things are set up to just get us to look and to be so perplexed with what we're looking at that we forget to live. Know that. And that's called low magic. Low magic is to try to create a situation where you harm yourself by being not having your eyes on the road. Every other day, there's a celebrity talking about another celebrity online or sending a message to a "You ever thought about that?" That's a new reality that has come into play. Where if we got a problem, I'm gonna get on a platform and air you out and bring everybody else into this problem and convince them to choose a side like idiots. And the 2 people may just be acting. And people will do anything to be able to ensure that they can pay their mortgage and buy another car or that $30,000 bag so they can separate themselves from the peasants. So they don't care long as they get, you know what I'm saying? So we everything we thought was one way, we may have to come to the harsh reality that everything that you don't really know could be fake. Like, if you don't really know me, I could be blowing smoke, right? Anybody can create any facade. You gotta know who you know, and you gotta know who you got data on, and you've been able to judge and watch. Hmm, listen to what people say. Watch what they do. Does it match up? We're in a cycle we've never seen anything like this. When you have 3 outer planets all shifting within a few months, I mean, man, closest thing we got is, some of our baby boomers. They at least were born, many of them, with Uranus, at the very oldest of that generation are born with Uranus in Gemini, like my mother, but even them, they ain't never lived with Pluto and Aquarius. They don't know nothing about Neptune and Aries. It's new for everybody. It's a new world, and the question is, what will you create? What will you create? Are you a creator or are you a consumer? That's the other thing about the China thing is they're making a mockery of our consumption. Everybody, when you get off this broadcast and when you watch this on the replay, I want you to sit and think and ask yourself, how do I create? And whatever it is you do or you can do, don't be bogged down with how can I get into a store? None of that. Just create. Contribute to cleansing the environment, because when there is no creation, there is stagnation, and when there's stagnation, there's pollution and Neptune, Aries. We don't wanna contribute to polluting the atmosphere. So create whatever it is. Create. Be a creator, because that is what it is to be a god. And I'm not saying this to be sacrilegious or to whatever. I'm saying I feel we are here to experience this reality, and through experiencing it, to understand our own divinity as a piece of central divinity. You're divine because you are a piece of divinity. So my man Eric sent me this video. I can't remember the guy's Ibrahim something, but the guy was breaking down all of the metaphysics that we've been studying. He really broke down what occult science really is. It was everything. And the reality is this: everything already exists right now. On my old channel, I did a video years ago called "The Never Ending Now." There is no yesterday, there is no tomorrow, it is just a now that extends. We reflect back on a particular time, but in that time, you were in the now. That time that you reflect on is created through you experiencing it at some you experienced it. We're experiencing right now, but we'll look back on this and say, "Oh, da, 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 da," but it only exists in now. The never ending now. Your life is a series of nows. What are you doing now? What are you doing now? What are you doing now? The future robs us of now, and the past prevents us of having a now. 'Cause if we get stuck in either one, what are you doing right now? That is what and that's another magical tenet. I need to write this shit down. I've given you I don't know how many write this down. I need to go back and watch this video. Be present. Be aware. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of surroundings talking to you, 'cause they're gonna they and the thing is they've been talking. Everything in your surroundings is talking to you. It's just that sometimes we ain't paying attention. There's all types of ways to get messages to us because everything is already happening and in multidimensional, multi-layered, multifaceted, complex. It's all happening at one time, but it is our ability to hear and to see these things. All right, so I rambled on enough. It's midnight here. Poetic said, I recently, like 2 hours ago, sketched a creator image. Wow. There we go. There we go. Yes. Synchronicity. And be little stuff like that too to let you know that there's see, I don't take things like that lightly, you know? So a lot of times I say things and somebody will put in the comments somewhere and like I talked about Mariah and the lady commented about how her daughter's name is Mariah and all this. I'm like, that's not a common name. It ain't like Mary or John. Or, you don't have a lot of people named Mariah. So these things, these synchronicities are other clues given to us. Sometimes synchronicities are clues to keep you moving down the path. Sometimes you'll have a breakthrough, and then you'll have things that come along that challenge. what you think you just figured it out, and it might and so I think little nuggets are given along the path to remind you that, yeah, there is there is something greater than what we see, you know? There is there are magical components to this experience that we're engulfed in. It is more than what we could imagine. What a time. What a time to be alive. Hey, y'all wanna close it out with a couple little tracks here? We ain't done this in a while. Used to, Poetic said if she could have uploaded it to share. Well, put it out somewhere, you know? Some of y'all gonna have to come out the shadows. Stop being, I'm not gonna say scared because that might not be what it is, but I know for some people it is, but put it out there, you know? Um, do I feel like, mm, no, I don't know about that. When we look at global reset, when we look at everything unfolding and how people are really, really getting upset about, how things are unfolding, keep in mind that many people have been having to figure out how to survive for a long time, you know? And don't take on other people's stressors. Let me tell you something. Like I said, we had to work for heat growing up. We couldn't afford to get the furnace fixed, so we stopped burning gas when I was little, probably about 5 or 6, and we had to haul kerosene cans, haul wood, go to the kindling yard, get kindling. My grandma would burn coal, um, so to heat the home meant it meant manual labor. It wasn't go to a wall and hit a switch. I don't wanna go back to that, but it's registered in here. I know what it is to have your water turned off, and thankfully, my grandmother was 2 doors down, and we'd go to her house at night so we wouldn't be embarrassed, take carrying buckets from her house to our house, looking like little refugees. I remember the pipes freezing up, and we had to boil water on the stove because we had old pipes. Peace, black butterfly. Um, why am I saying this? Because I haven't forgotten. The worst thing we may have to do is remember how to work together. We may have to have those hard conversations with family members that we have been avoiding because we know we can't live under the same roof because so and so doesn't know how to behave. So maybe it's the last time, we're gonna bring things up to the surface. Hey, we need everybody to pull their weight such and such, and hey, if you can't do it, then cool. because we can't afford liabilities. But it at least gives us the opportunity to have an impetus to maybe attempt some healing in some of our families, at least try. Maybe we reconsider how our relationships are going and we actually learn how to listen to each other. We actually learn better how to respect each other because we're seen as a greater threat, you know? Maybe we learn how to partnership. Maybe a couple of families figure out how to work together. That's the beautiful thing. And if you got any history of struggle, then I mean, if you know how to make things happen, even a song like "Ha" by Juvenile, if you a paper chaser, you got your block on fire, remaining the G until the moment you expire, you know what it is to make nothing into something. You handle your biz and don't be crying when you're suffering. It's even a message in that hook. Make nothing into something. Don't be crying when you suffer. I'm not taking on the same trauma as certain other people because 'cause they're accustomed to things working for them. They're accustomed to a certain degree of privilege and carte blanche. I'm not. I remember a lady my mother used to work with, she said they would just run up credit cards and just file bankruptcy, and we didn't know. We didn't know. First of all, we couldn't get any credit cards. Just so many little things that people have been privy to that we didn't even know. We shopping at the rummage sale and, Salvation Army and getting, here my mother's a teacher, but we were working poor. We didn't know. Go and run up the cars and just file bankruptcy. That's when the bankruptcy laws were different, you know? It's so many things that people don't even realize the privileges they've had when they talk about, "Well, I work hard," and, like, you don't even know. So, this thing we may be approaching the great equalizer. Now maybe we'll have true equanimity, 'cause maybe you'll see what it really means to have to get it out the mud. When all these things that have been working for you that you don't ever tell how they really been working for you, what if they go away? And we gotta really see what you made out of. Which leads me into this song. I'll play this one song, we're gonna get out of here. Milan Fashion Week. The theme of this song is a model who is being exploited. Everybody wants to come and see her walk down the runway, but they're not concerned that she hasn't eaten in days. She's frail. They're snapping pictures and they're drinking their champagne and eating caviar and other hors d'oeuvres, but and she's been suffering. She has no actual support system. It's been taken away, but nobody can empathize, nor can they sympathize. They're so caught up in their world. And she's a metaphor for this particular landmass that we are in that has never done right by the original inhabitants, even made up stories to deny their actual um, roots and connection. So this song, Milan Fashion Week, is a metaphor for all of the above, and it's timely given the climate that we're in. This cloth, similar to Egyptian cotton, worn by an old Yemeni while salatin. The 5 pillars became the 5-finger discount. Stolen by lost souls, couldn't find a way out. Fortunately, she found fine linens in the 9th inning. A Roman centaur with his cohorts tried to tear her garments apart. A Etruscan habit, ascot, like a ship captain, dry scotch. Rumor is she got family ties in Suma and Tulsa. Okay, minus. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna run this back. Under the moonlit night, we serenade the goddess. Crooner, sidebar. The devil can't hurt you, only make you harm yourself. Kruger, mountain cougars, roam the west side of NC. Rugers, we're no longer juniors, we are seniors in our class. Eons have passed, shards of broken glass come together like satin threads. Milan Fashion Week. Yeah. On runways, guns blaze, cannons and Nikons place images in cage. Onlookers express fake rage, so concerned about the fact she hasn't eaten in days. The price of high fashion. Eastern Germany handler keeps the dame dashing. Several factions clashing. They all want in on the action. Between wardrobe changes, the weight of the world leaves certain anguish. Jet setters dine on smoked salmon, rice, pilaf in meat lawn. Red wine, dry blood drips on. Milan Fashion Week. Drugged in a residence, found face down and Trueless left no evidence. At least they thought so. They overlooked the colored pea coat, the last trace of a royalty. The pedigree is obvious, a chaos is orderly. Awful paradox, still she loyally dredges on with the soil and flees. Plutonian, scorpionic is a jabs. Underworld, chthonic just below the Ave. Ma'ati-in, Saba'inim, the bottom at the top again. Question, is the ration fair you portion them? Probably not. Milan Fashion Week. She's so angry, that's how media label her. When she finally starts to stir, when her life's on review, the synagogue of Satan sits on the front pew. Always got a hand in every plot, hand in every pot, hand in the ass, prostate or not. Prostrate she will not. Apocalypse, this is her shot to balance scales. This won't be one hell of a story to tell. Milan Fashion Week. Milan Fashion Week. The best stories full of irony. Until the end it seemed that the victor would sink his ivories deeper in the flesh. Vital force sucked until there is nothing left. But then dramatic change ushers in a new era. The main character's revelation, no mascara. Under the gorgeous skin and beautiful grin lurks a fire that burns hotter than the scorching sand of arid desert land. In quiet, her soul draws nearer. She's surrounded by several mirrors. Through anger, sadness, and streaming tears, she cries, she scries. Divinating, there is no fear, just focused eyes. Kali Yuga, no more Uber. Instead, sweet chariots fly that are made from fire. So when chambers echo, she reply. Her fruit hangs low enough to reach high. Feet earth and head is sky. Arms stretch, oceans comply. Winds blow by, rustle leaves on trees. Every root, every stem through her breathes. Through every womb she conceives. Every thought that comes and leaves is her. So with the goddess we confer. And when we concur, it's all beautiful. Milan Fashion Week, the throne is now suitable. Milan Fashion Week, the throne is now suitable. Milan Fashion Week, the throne is now suitable. Milan Fashion Week, the throne is now. This cloth, similar to Egyptian cotton, worn by an old Yemeni while salatin. The 5 pillars became the 5-finger discount. Stolen by lost souls, couldn't find a way out. Fortunately, she found fine linens in the 9th inning. A Roman centaur with his cohorts tried to tear her garments apart. A Etruscan habit, ascot, like a ship captain, dry scotch. Rumor is she got family ties in Suma and Tulsa, okay. Know the stars and know yourself. Stay down till you get up. When you get up, stay down. 720astrology.com. Peace.